Scarlet Knights fans, man, Rutgers goes down. Tough loss, 31-7. Michigan in Michigan. We knew it was going to be a tough game. We knew we would probably lose big. Um, we came out swinging, started 7-0. Michigan would have beat us regardless of any officiating, but I have to say it was mostly a fair game with the officials, but sometimes they just still those Big 10 officials, man, they get to me because the holding call when we were up 7-0, we had gotten the ball back, and Manungai goes for a big run. We're at midfield. All of a sudden, there's a holding call. You're watching the replay. There's no holding. And then later in the game, when it's still close, we're driving. Whether you believe that it should have been a unsportsmanlike or not, he pushes him in the back. The guy throws the flag. Who says you thought it was unsportsmanlike what he did? You were there. You threw the flag, but I'm telling you to pick it up. I mean, come on, man. Just not digging that. I think this game, to be honest with you, and I'm not saying anything about overarching coaching job for the season or the potential of the program or the way the program's been built. There's a lot of good things to say about the coaching staff so far this year, and with the program's trajectory. But I think we were out coached a bit today. I do. Shiano early in the first half, we have the ball. It would have been a 40-something yard field goal for Jay Patel. He's shown the ability to make those. We have the opportunity to get 10 points up on the board, 3 points, plus 7. And we decide to go for it, but then we get the penalty. Now Patel has to kick a 51-yarder in a hostile environment, off center. He had almost enough leg, but it didn't quite get it. I didn't like that decision. Did not like the decision. Hated the decision to call that screen play on the 4th and 2. There's so many other things you could do in that situation. The screenplay was tough. I did think, there was a lot of contact there, but it might have been within the 5 yards. I don't really know. It looked like there was a ton of contact. And then he returns it for a touchdown. That kind of was what blew the game wide open. But look, Gavin Wimsatt, man, aside from that crappy play call and that way that play went down, solid game from Gavin, in my opinion. He's really starting to get a feel for the read when he's doing the read option, when to keep the ball, when to give the ball up. I thought he had a couple really good runs. And when they put the ball in his hands and threw the ball, I thought he had some really nice throws into tight windows. Remember, they kept listing him as a junior because he was here that weird redshirt year when he should have been in high school. He's a redshirt sophomore. And I think he's progressing more and more. This was a hostile environment on the road against the number 2 team in the country. I thought he held his own. Michigan's a good team. They're going to go on to do big things. It is what it is. They're ranked number 2 in the country. This was at home. Harbaugh's back. Big day for them. They lined up and kicked us in the mouth, and it is what it is. But I think we showed that this team are not frauds. Tighten up the coaching decisions. Tighten up some of the ways. Even on defense a few times. They got us. Their quarterback was a master at knowing when to keep the ball himself. Their outside runs, their seal-offs, they were just calling great plays at the right times. We couldn't keep up in a lot of ways, and it is what it is. It's frustrating because the game was there to be a tight game where anything could happen. But I really think by not kicking the field goals, by trying some fluky stuff, we didn't play like we belonged. We played like we had to just, empty everything and go all out. And I don't know that we needed to do that. We come home against Wagner now. We'll start the season, unless something crazy happens, we start the season 4-1, and there's plenty of opportunity to get 2 wins in the Big Ten, try to go bowling, take a step forward as a program. You saw Aaron Young get some run there. I thought he ran hard. Him coming back is good for us. We have a deep running back room. Receivers had some nice catches. You had Dremel in there. Washington had a few. And then obviously Jackson. But we're still not getting great separation. That's a problem. But overall, I just think, it was kind of a weird day where some rough calls, some game-changing type plays occurred. And I think we were out-coached a little bit. That doesn't mean I'm down on Chirac overall. It doesn't mean I'm down on Shiano overall. But I thought that we could have made some better coaching decisions there. I really do. And, we didn't let Gavin throw a lot early in the game. And then when he started to throw, aside from that screen, which I don't really put on him, Dremmel's getting tackled, basically. Uh, I think he had a pretty good showing. And then, Dremel doesn't turn around. He puts the ball towards the sideline. He turns around, comes back for that ball on the late fourth down. Maybe we get closer. Maybe we get another touchdown on the board. I'm encouraged by what I've seen from our players. And I don't necessarily think, obviously Michigan's more talented. But I don't necessarily see that in that game we were just out talented to death until the very end. I think there was a lot of other things that went into that game, that were a decisive factor in the game. So we expected to lose. Most of us expected to lose big. Flip Dixon was the only one who seemed like he got nicked up, but he came back into the game and laid a hard hit on somebody. So, knock on wood, I think we got out of there healthy. Let's regroup. Let's have a good tailgate next week. And let's get it and tackle the rest of the conference schedule, man. Let's come out of here and go bowling. Let's take a step forward as a program. Tough day, just a frustrating day, but kind of a weird day. Like, we didn't have a great showing. We didn't take them down to the wire. But even though we kind of got blown out, it didn't feel like a blowout, which I guess is good. And I think our individual players showed that they can hang. We didn't seem like we didn't belong on the field. And if we belong on the field with the number 2 team in the country and probably the best or one of the best teams in the Big Ten, then that means we can play ball this year. So let's not, feel sorry for ourselves. Let's not get down on everybody. Let's not throw pity parties. Let's enjoy the rest of our rainy Saturday in Jersey. Let's have a beer or two, hang with our friends. I have a little indoor tailgate going on here with some sausage and stuff. We're hanging out. I'll do a little bit more of an in-depth dive later in the week. I'll do a preview of the Wagner game. I'll see you guys at the tailgate. It's expected, but what did we want to see? Some competitiveness, getting out of there healthy, showing that our players belonged on the field. I think we did do that. So let's continue to build on this. A lot to dissect, a lot to talk about. Guys, if you haven't done so yet, whether you're a Amazing Blue fan, whether you're a Scarlet Knights fan, hit subscribe. We're in the middle of trying to get to 500 subscribers. We have had a ton, an outpouring of support the last couple weeks. The channel's growing, the content's growing, and look, the Rutgers football program is building. So hit subscribe. Let's keep building the channel. Good luck to Michigan, the rest of the way. They lined up and played ball. What are you going to say? They're a better team, and they would have beaten us regardless of what we did. I think we could have made some better decisions, but it is what it is. Good coaching staff, good players on that side of the ball. Like I said, disappointed in some of the officiating, but I don't think that was per se decisive. And you can't cry about that when you make plenty of your own coaching errors and player errors. But decent showing. We're showing growth. Let's move on. Let's move on to the next game. Let's continue with this season. It's still a promising year. Go RU. Hit subscribe. Larry K out. Talk to you guys soon.